All right. Good afternoon. We're delighted to be joined by our friend Ulrike Richardson, who, as you know, is the humanitarian coordinator for Haiti. I think this will be your last briefing here on Haiti, as you are heading off to Libya soon. And we'll hope to welcome you back in that new role. But in the meantime, we'll give you the floor and then we'll take some questions.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. So it's a pleasure to be here again. And yes, it's not the first time. And I'm really grateful also to see that Haiti is still attracting interest. And this is absolutely very needed. And I think this is my key message today. This will be my last briefing on Haiti as I move on 1st of September to Libya. And for me, I've spent a bit more than 3 years in physically in Port-au-Prince, around the country, and of course I have a lot of different impressions, and I have a divided as well heart, having left Haiti just a few days ago. I think for me, the key, let's say, impression that I have is that the situation on the ground is enormously acute. And I often feel that I can't even find words any longer to describe the situation. Is it alarming? Is it acute? Is it urgent? It's all of that and even more. And I think that we state a lot of figures. We say that we have 1.3 million people displaced since the last, currently as a result of the gang violence, as the gangs have sort of rummaged the city. We have, and half of them are children. We have 3,000 people having been killed in gang-related incidents since the beginning of the year. We have 2 million people living in IPC4, meaning really emergency levels of food insecurity. But all of that is just figures in a way. And behind every figure there is a woman, a mother, a child, a father, a young person. And what really strikes me is the resistance that people in Haiti have to the situation. I've had a lot of courageous stories from women in particular. I remember one woman who had been brutally raped over a longer period of time, and who told me that she had lost faith in life, and then with some assistance in terms of mental health, for example, mental health support, she got her faith back and sort of was still standing and still wanting to live, and was actually seeking justice. That was very impressive for me to hear. But also stories of people abandoning themselves and being really breaking their heart in terms of having to leave people behind as gangs invade their neighborhoods. And these could be people in a wheelchair or an elderly relative that they simply have to leave behind. They can't move with them. So the situation is really very strikingly horrific in the capital. And I think obviously children are particularly affected. Particularly we have a malnutrition that is striking. We have children being recruited by the armed gangs. And of course, they fare really poorly. Many of them also, in terms of education, you can imagine years with broken school years. We have generations that have not fulfilled an entire, let's say, year of schooling. And of course, many schools have had to close. Hospitals are only 36%. In the capital of the hospitals are fully functioning. Only, let's say, I think now 2 out of 3 major hospitals are actually out of function. So the situation is really terrible. I think for me the key message here, Stefan, is and to all of you, is that the most frustrating thing is, well, there are a lot of non-frustrating things. I think the UN, we are on the ground. We've been there on the ground throughout these absolutely worst periods. And I think we've been able to, even with scarce resources, very, very, let's say, complex access issues, humanitarian access issues, we've been able to help people and assist and be there for many of people who've been faring really badly in this situation in light of the violence. But I think there is a lot of frustration because we have a lot of the tools. The tools are there. We have a humanitarian response plan. It's only funded 9%. It's the lowest level of funding for any response plan in the world. And it's 900 million. We are not talking about the biggest response plan either. So that is, of course, a big frustration. But also we have a sanctions regime that was introduced in 2022. We have an arms embargo, similarly introduced in 2022. We have the multinational security support mission that has been on the ground for a year, but not given the tools or the size needed to actually perform its role. So that is actually very frustrating. We have tools, but the response for the international community is just not at par with the gravity on the ground. So it does not respond to the severity and the gravity of the situation. And this, as you can imagine, is really, I think, a great concern to all of us. But it's also an opportunity for the international community to really look at these tools. Member states, what else can we do? Because Haiti's destiny is not this type of situation. It doesn't need to be misery and despair. Haiti has a very, very honorable and I think a history that is really brilliant and was an inspiration to many countries and many regions of the world. And I think that there's, as much as Haiti has spiraled down in a very negative spiral, Haiti can quickly spiral up again. But the violence needs to end. This brutal violence hitting women, children, young people in particular, needs to end. Thank you.
Thank you. Edie?
Thank you very much, Ms. Richardson, on behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association for doing this briefing. And I know we wish you all well going from one hotspot to another in Libya. Looking back 3 years when gang violence certainly was nowhere near what it is today, what could have been done differently? And I know you just asked, what else can we do now? What would your recommendation be?
Thank you very much, and also thank you for having accompanied Haiti very closely throughout, at least as I recall these 3 years. I think for me, obviously we have to have, I think one is that these tools need to be given the proper support and investment in order to carry out their full mandate. Simply, there has to be a way of stopping arms coming into Haiti. And of course, it has to do with trafficking, but there are ways of stopping arms coming into Haiti. If you strangle that, let's say, that trafficking of arms, there will be a decrease of violence. Similarly, the sanctions, very important. There is and has been very long-standing relations between these armed gangs and political actors, economic actors. And those sanctions were put in place, that sanction regime was put in place to break those relationships. And the MSS was supposed to be on the ground with more than 2,500 uniformed personnel. So I think that's we need to use these tools, but we need to also have the presence of mind and of strategic vision to be able to move in parallel on security, the political solution and security obviously very intimately linked, but they have to advance. And similarly, we need to advance on what is stability, on what is actually development, responding to the development deficiency, that deficit that exists in Haiti. Because otherwise we will have the rest of the country possibly risking of plunging into insecurity and instability.
So why isn't this happening now? Is it money? Is it political will? Is it both? And why has it been impossible to break this link between the gangs and the political and business elites?
I think it's both of what you mentioned. I think it's both real political will at many different levels, as well as funding. We know that the world is facing challenges in terms of funding, and Haiti, of course, very much so. I think the gangs, some of the sanctions have had some impact, which is why I say that it is a tool that needs to be invested in. So the gangs have become more autonomous, meaning in the sense that they depend less on the traditional economic and political actors, although that still exists, and have more now plunged into regional organized crime. Of course, trafficking of drugs is financing some of these operations. Again, trafficking of arms, trafficking of people. So organized crime and that international money laundering, let's say, that also exists, is really something that is now empowering the gangs to be more autonomous.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you, Aziz Rami for the Moroccan Press. You spoke about this lady who regained faith in life and in justice. My question to you, after 3 years and now you're going to another position, how optimistic are you that the situation in Haiti will go back to normal, and based on what basis, either whether you are optimistic or not? My second question is, how do you explain the poor response from the international community to the relatively, as you said, small response fund, $900 million? And is there any way to bring back Haiti to the radar, so to speak, of the international community in this regard?
So if I'm optimistic, yes. I think you cannot work, I think we cannot do what we do if we are not optimistic. Of course we think that there are solutions. Of course we think that the future is brighter than the present. So yes, I'm very optimistic, and Haiti has a lot to offer. In fact, its own people. I think that, as I mentioned, it is a fairly small territory, very rich country. And the population is a very agile population. There is a lot of human resources available, the diaspora, and I think the country can be rebuilt. But it needs political stability, needs to get rid of the gang violence, needs to get rid of the arms on that island, as well as, of course, getting development back on track. So, but for all of this to happen, I mean, the response, why is Haiti not getting more in terms of the international response? Of course, that's not for me to answer. I wish I had the answer, then we would be able, yes, but I don't. So I think it's something we just need to keep on. And that's my message to member states, and also internally to our my UN colleagues. Keep Haiti on the agenda, and keep Haiti on and I'm grateful that Haiti is often on the agenda of the noon briefing. But it's very important. Haiti tends to be, in a way, a little forgotten. It's not out of the way, but it tends to be a little forgotten. But I wouldn't say it's a forgotten crisis. But I think every condition is actually there in order to turn the page and start the spiral back up to stability, to prosperity, and to a life in dignity. I think the Haitians are extremely ready for this, and I think you will find it amazing how, and quite a revelation when we will see how the country can spiral up again to take its place in sort of the world with a more positive echo than it has over the past years.
Thank you. Ahmed Ali, and then we'll go to Jacqueline Charles online.
Yes, thank you,
Yes,
Ms.
thank-
Richardson,
Good.
for both the briefing and the essential work you do. My name is Ahmed Ali with Sphinx News TV. From your experience in Haiti, what key lessons will you carry forward and apply to your work in Libya? Thank you.
Well, a lot of, obviously, I think and I've been working 30 years for the UN, and I think my toolbox is now heavier than ever. And definitely I have a repository of different, let's say, things that work, but also things that doesn't work. And I think as we move forward, we also learn a lot from our failures, obviously. I can't say now in particular. I still need to travel to Libya and see what I will apply there. But definitely there are. It's hugely different context, although some issues remain the same. But I will have to get back to you perhaps more specifically once I've spent some time in Libya. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go online. Jacqueline Charles, Miami Herald. Jacqueline, go ahead. Hold on, I'm going to ask the technicians to unmute you. Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Again.
All right.
Again.
Hi. Do you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. And Eureka, thank you very much. Because you've really taken on this job with a lot of care and passion. I know it hasn't been easy. I'm just two questions, and I'm going to go back to sort of the question we've all sort of been asking, but let me ask it another way. You participated in a lot of meetings with international actors in regards to Haiti and the situation there. What do they tell you after they say, yeah? I mean, in terms of why the reluctancy to provide the additional funding? Is it Haiti fatigue, or is it, what exactly is the feedback you're getting? And then the second question has to do with the MSS. I mean, I'm hearing from a number of actors on the ground that they are not seeing them, that they are not leaving the barracks. We know the last time we actually heard from them, they were talking about this need to transition out the first and second contingents that arrive. We can't get an answer from the U.S. What is the status of the MSS today?
Jacqueline, and also for your coverage of Haiti, very important. So feedback from the international community also, I think it is this conundrum of what is the priority very often, right? And I said we have to have this presence of mind to be able to focus on more than one priority in parallel. So it's often the prioritization. And also that I think what they are looking for, obviously, and many also not necessarily from the international community, is that the political stability will get installed. Because as we know, much of that is at the root of course, many of the other challenges that we see, and in terms of insecurity and the presence of the gangs on the ground. So I think sometimes it's going too far in the wait and see. We need to wait and see how the situation evolves before we reinvest. And I say, well, I think time is running out. That's one reaction that I get often. The other one is, yes, but what do we focus on? And I say, well, this is we need to have the presence of focusing on more than one priority. So I think that's often it's not a lack of interest, and that I must say I've been particularly positively, I think, impressed by the level of engagement of many of the actors. And of course, we call all the time of engagement of the region. And I've seen over the past 3 years a much more important engagement and involvement of the immediate region, but also of the broader, let's say, Latin American region. And I think that is very important. And this is something that we've been encouraging. So that is really a good step forward in my view. The MSS, let's face it, I must say, many of these more or less 1,000 or maybe 900 something Kenyan police officers, very brave. They put themselves in a very, very difficult position in a way that many of them have been on the ground for a year without a break. And these are often mothers or fathers of families that they have back in Kenya. They have not been able to see them. So I think that is a real issue. They need to really do the rotation. But also they were supposed to be more than the double, not only of Kenyans, obviously. This was supposed to be a multinational response. So I think this is the key challenge. And as you know very well, there will be a discussion. There is the Secretary General's proposal to the Security Council of February this year. Still needs to be, let's say, acted upon, responded to, and deliberated on. And I think this is what we are waiting for, because that will also determine, of course, what is the future of the multinational security support to Haiti. So I think this is, of course, we would wish that this happened with a greater speed. But we also know that the Security Council and member states have a lot of issues to handle and focus on. The noon briefing in itself is just let's say, a reminder of that. But we hope that that the seriousness on the ground, the gravity, the severity, is really pushing now the Security Council to look at this proposal and make a decision on what is the way forward. And I think what is very important to look at here is of course that this is Haiti-led, in the sense that it doesn't mean that Haiti alone. It means it has to be Haiti-led, so that the Haitian National Police and also its let's say the army is sort of at the forefront, that they are being strengthened in the process. But also that you have the consolidation capacity installed, because once you let's say decrease violence, the absence of violence necessarily doesn't mean peace. So to turn that absence of violence into a peace dividend needs a lot of consolidation capacity, and this is what Haiti particularly needs once the security, at least minimally, will have been installed in the capital.
Thank you. Edie?
Just a quick follow-up to Jacqueline's question. When you talked about growing support from the region for Haiti, what kind of support, if any, have you been getting from the United States?
Well, I think the United States obviously is very much engaged as part of an international response to the Haiti situation. There are very close linkages between the United States and Haiti, a big diaspora here in the States. And so I think that has been quite significant, obviously. The United States have financed parts of the MSS, and I think that in itself is an indication that Haiti remains a priority to the United States. But it's not for me to say, but at least it's an indication from what I can say. The engagement of the diplomatic presence in Port-au-Prince is, as with the others, very intense. And we talk a lot, we meet and discuss how we can best work together to address the situation on the ground. So I think that's, needless to say, I think that there is an interest in Haiti. It's just a matter of the sense of urgency that needs to now translate into concrete support.
Okay. Ulrike, thank you very much. We wish you all the best in your new assignment, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.